AITA for calling my sister-in-law pathetic during a family dinner? My fiancé, Chris, 24M, is the youngest in his family with two older siblings. A brother, 31M, and a sister, 29F. I, also 24M, have one sister who is 9 years younger than me. I don't put much stock into the whole, your birth order determines your entire personality, thing. But I do think it might enhance traits we already have. I've always naturally been a pretty quiet, even-tempered, nurturing kind of guy. I think I would still be all those things regardless. Having a little sister when I did just amplified them. Meanwhile, Chris was very much the baby of his family. He wasn't spoiled, just taken care of in the same way my sister is. I've known Chris's family since we were 16. I've never personally had any problems with them, but I did witness a few fights between him and his sister over the years. The fights were always about Chris being a golden child, and either getting more privileges, attention than she did, or getting similar privileges earlier in life. I stayed out of it as this was between the two of them. I didn't see the point in stepping into family dynamics like that. Especially since I would have been a minor at the time arguing with a woman in her 20s. This past Thursday night, we left on a weekend trip with his family. We left pretty late Thursday. We had already been driving for a few hours. And Chris gets hot, uncomfortable pretty easily. So he wasn't feeling too great. His dad went through a drive-thru, and as we were sitting in the parking lot eating, I asked if there was anything I could do to make him more comfortable. He had forgotten to unbuckle his own seatbelt. So I did it for him and just told him to relax and enjoy his food. His sister made some sort of comment about him getting coddled, but I took it as a joke and brushed past it. Fast forward to last night, while we were out at dinner. It was uncharacteristically warm in the little restaurant we chose. Chris had worn a hoodie with nothing underneath while I was wearing a t-shirt. So we went into the bathroom to switch. It wasn't a big deal until, when we sat back down, his sister said, "Looks like you're still getting the golden boy treatment." Huh? Quote, I'm usually not a confrontational person, but I was annoyed enough by the multiple comments. I said, "It's a little pathetic that you're almost 30 and you're still rehashing the same argument you had when Chris and I were 16 years old." She ended up going to wait in the car while we finished our meal. It's been tense since then, and while no one has brought it up, I'm not sure if I overstepped. AITA? Edit. The two examples I gave are not regular occurrences. As I said in a comment, to me these are just instances of me being considerate of my acts of service is big for me when it comes to expressing my love. He does the same for me, as we all should be doing for our partners. Even if you doted on your fiancé, why does his jealous sister have to make negative comments? I would have said something. NTA. If Chris knows he gets hot, why isn't he layering? You obviously love him, but from an outside perspective he does seem a bit coddled. From the two examples you gave, you for calling her out publicly, her for making the comment. YTA. In the two examples you provided, she had every right to bust his balls. You don't need someone else to unbuckle you at 24, and if you're dumb enough to wear a hoodie without anything underneath on a hot day, then it's your own fault and you deal with it. I think you've crossed the line from nurturing to infantilizing your partner. I've seen the comments where you say these are not normal occurrences, but it really comes across like Chris is so used to being looked after. It's become instinctual to both of you. If he gets hot and bothered so easily, he would be the first to unbuckle his seatbelt so as to get comfortable. And he certainly wouldn't wear a hoodie with nothing underneath it. Look, if you are happy to look after him and he likes being looked after, great. But it doesn't mean sis isn't right. I'm curious, did she comment in a bitter way or it's normal teasing between siblings? Esh if it's the former. YTA if the latter. This is kind of weird. I wouldn't say you're an AH, but this seems bizarre. Acts of service are huge for me, but they're quiet and between us. If my partner snapped at my sibling, I would not be happy. It sounds like your boyfriend needs to be more independent or more vocal about disagreements with his siblings so you don't get involved. Family is complicated. Don't get in the middle of it. Esh. Your fiancé needs your help wearing a shirt and unbuckling his seatbelt and you're trying to argue that you don't coddle him? He's an adult and you are enabling baby behavior. Stop it. NTA people have lost the plot. The question isn't how Chris is high maintenance and probably does need to figure stuff out on his own. It's that his sister is a 29-year-old woman making stupid comments constantly like they're both still teenagers. She's not saying this stuff cause she actually cares whether Chris is having problems with figuring stuff out himself. She's not being constructive. It's that she's still pissy about their childhood. She can be bitter. Maybe rightfully so. But if all she's going to do is make comments like that every time they're together, then Op is right in telling her it's gotten old. Edit. Also, isn't this an issue she should have with their parents? They're the ones who created this whole problem. Instead, she's making pissy comments to her little brother. NTA. I'm glad you do sweet things for each other. And I'm sad for an awful lot of folks here. Your sil can take what she dishes out or stop dishing it out. Is it as pathetic as feeling you need to cater to a BF you apparently feel is unable to have the foresight to appropriately dress himself or unbuckle his own seatbelt? Acts of service are one thing. Reinforcing behaviors of helplessness is another. Your interaction with him makes it sound like you're dealing with a special needs child. I was waiting for your description of how you cut up his food for him. The sister may be snarky, but her observation about the relationship is on point. Let me get this straight, you unbuckled a 24-year-old seat belt for him? And he can't dress himself in accordance with the temperature. Op. You're not being nurturing. You're allowing him to remain a baby. These comments are crazy lol. Do none of you do anything nice for your partners? Op your NTA. YTA because calling someone pathetic is a nuclear insult and not appropriate for this situation. Wipe that word from your vocabulary, you're too old for it now. NTA at all. You have heard her sniping at him for years because she is jealous. You defended your fiancé. He is your family and you feel like protecting him. I think you overprotect him by taking off his seatbelt and all that. But fiancés do kooky things sometimes. NTA. Whether you coddle your husband or not is none of her business. That's between you and him. She's way overstepping and she deserves to be called out on it. Next time you can be even less polite. Eventually she'll stop doing it. YTA. You had to unbuckle his car seat and help him dress. Sister is right on this one. If not a golden child, then possibly a shiny yellow metal baby. Was something stopping Chris from unbuckling his own seatbelt? Does he not know to wear a t-shirt under a hoodie? It does sound like he's kind of a golden boy who gets things done for him that he's perfectly capable of doing on his own. YTA. NTA. She made a snarky comment and doesn't get to do shocked Pikachu face because his spouse stood up for him. YTA to yourself. You're now a parent to Chris lol. His sister is right, he is being babied and it's a little weird.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.